Hija de puta. Hijas de puta.
Just a few days ago, we were sailing past Barbados going into Saint-Pétry. We were tacking up and down in shallow waters right near the coast and against the wind, which sucks. But you have to do it because there's orcas in the area. And if you don't want to get attacked, that's what you have to do. While we were doing this, we heard messages on the VHF from a boat being attacked by experiencing an interaction with orcas. And when we checked the location, we couldn't believe where he was. They were not near the coast at all, in deep water, exactly where the orcas were supposed to be. Just for context, this is like going into grizzly bear territory in the feeding season, being warned that bears were spotted in the area, and then you wonder why you're being attacked by bears. It's crazy. Well, we didn't know the full story at the time, but now we do. We know that the captain was making a delivery from a company that does this crap all the time. This is Starry Night, a courageous, plucky sailboat who has only one dream: to sail around the world and have lots of adventures. No, not like that. It's around the world, not through it. But not everything was going to plan. Starry Night was abandoned on the heart for 12 full years. But one day, he found us. My name is Paulo, and this is Caterina, and these are our two very overactive kids. After a crazy amount of work, Starry Night is once again ready to sail the oceans. So sit back, relax, and join us in this adventure, and we will all find out together where Starry Night will end up next. 4 days before we got to this area, we were monitoring the channels that let you know where the orcas are. You can go to orcas.pt, where you can find all of the information. You can even access a WhatsApp group where you get real-time information about the places where the orcas are or are supposed to be or are going next. So this is very helpful, and basically every sailor in the area uses these tools. So we knew that the orcas were in the area, and you're supposed to keep in shallow areas because the orcas, they don't usually go to shallow areas. So to maximize your potential for not being interacted with, you should always stay in shallow area. However, this boat, it completely ignored all of this advice. Not only did they ignore this advice and took a straight line, like the best line for sailing, but also the best line to get attacked, they also, when they started getting attacked, didn't do the right thing. As you can see on this video, the captain is completely clueless. And bear in mind, this is a professional captain that's doing a delivery. From the report that I got from a very reliable source, we know that when they started being violently interacted by orcas, the measures taken were putting the engine into neutral, which you should not do, put on life vests, which is fine, alert to the authorities that you're being interacted with, which is also fine, and prepare the life raft and the EPIRB. And for the next 30 minutes, they just stayed there, occasionally turning the engine on to try to scare the orcas away when they were biting the rudder, and then turning it back off again and staying in place without moving. Okay, you should not do this. The guidelines are clear. If you start getting attacked, interact by orcas, you should straight away point to shore, maximum speed. You see, what happens is that the group that is attacking is mostly the juvenile members of the pod. And once you get far away enough from the main group, they lose interest and they come back to the main group. So that will give you a fighting chance of keeping your boat intact. They might hit you a few times, and if you're lucky, you'll be out of range of the main group, and the troublesome individuals will come back to the main group and leave you alone. That's what you should do. You should not turn off your engine and bob around waiting while they destroy your rudder. Because they did not do this, the orcas had plenty of time to rip the rudder right off of the hull. It just didn't fall off because it was held down by the quadrant and the cables from the steering, because it was completely detached from the hull. You can see it in this picture right here. That brings us to another thing that we might consider. So this was a production boat. I'm not gonna mention brands because, let's face it, basically nowadays they're all basically the same. And this rudder was clearly not fit to be attacked by an orca. It had only one point of contact, and once that point ripped, water started getting into the vessel. You're not going to change the boat that you have because of the orcas, but it's worth it to know that if you have these kinds of boats that are more susceptible to damage by orca or hitting anything, maybe don't take the risk and take a straight line through orca territory. So the rudder stock was quite weak in the point where it attached. It's good for sailing, not good for much else. You hit something, it's going to rupture. But the second sin of this boat is that once ruptured, the water can get into the whole boat. Some boats, the ones that are better built, even if you lose your rudder, the water can get into a compartment that is separated from the rest of the boat. This is not the case with this one. Again, I'm not going to mention brands or... Once the rudder stock broke, a lot of water came gushing in. So much so that the bilge pumps could not keep up with the amount of water that was coming into the boat. And you can see in this picture, the water level was already above the cabin sole. However, luckily for them, the Coast Guard reacted really quickly. And they got to the boat and they were able to use 3 large engine-driven pumps to keep pumping the water out so that they could tow the boat into port. Nobody was hurt, nobody was killed, thankfully. Just the boat had major damage that now needs to be repaired. The company in charge of the delivery was Halcyon Yacht Limited. The captain is supposedly a professional. Now, it boggles the mind how a professional captain sailing through orca-infested waters does not know what to do if they get attacked by orcas. I don't know how this is gonna play out, so if you have any more information on, what happened next regarding maybe insurance or who pays for the damage of the boat or how that works, I have no idea. What I know is that someone paid for a delivery and the captain made a huge mistake taking the route that he did, and the worst happened. The boat was attacked and it has a huge amount of damage to it. I've also heard from very reliable sources that it is not the first time, not the second, and not the third that this particular company has boats from clients getting attacked by orcas. Now, if you're from this company, feel free to leave a comment down below explaining yourself, or if you know more information about this situation, please feel free to enlighten us, because all of us would like to know why this keeps happening. This is not a single incident. But anyway, what we need to learn about this is If you are in grizzly bear territory, don't be surprised you get attacked by grizzly bears. If you are in orca territory, you can't be surprised if you get attacked by orcas. I understand this is something that did not used to happen before, and this behavior by orcas is not normal. However, you must understand this is the new normal. And for us who sail these waters all the time, we understand it's the new normal and we take every precaution to avoid it. Because after all, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, if it could be solved or not. What matters is the outcome from your trip. And if you're going down the coast of Portugal, down the coast of Spain, and you're not following the proper guidelines, you might just get interacted until you sink, which is not a good thing. So what are the proper guidelines if you're sailing these waters? First, go to orcas.pt, there's a link down in the description, and find out where the orcas are at the time you're going to be sailing. Okay? It's not always 100%, but it helps. If they are way up in the north and you're sailing in the south, you might be a little bit more relaxed. If you're sailing in the south and the orcas are in the south, don't relax. Second, get into the WhatsApp group. It's very helpful. You receive instant updates from orca sightings. And this is very, very helpful. You can find out how you can join the group in orcas.pt. Keep in shallow waters. 20 to 30, and 30 is already a little bit too much. I'm talking meters, that's this much in freedom units, but keep in shallow waters because the orcas rarely go into shallow waters and you will have a much better chance of not finding orcas. Fourth, if you find yourself being interacted by orcas, do not stop your boat and wait until they rip the rudder off. Engines on max and head straight to shore. Get as far away as you can from the main group to maximize your potential to not, sink your boat. And that's basically it. It's not that complicated or difficult. And listen, I understand. Tacking up and down like we did in shallow waters, close to the rocks, it sucks balls. But you know what sucks more? Sinking your boat because you just made a straight line through the orca territory where they were supposed to be. I hope this video reaches as many of you as possible so that you can know how to deal with sailing in orca-infested waters. And there is no zero risk, but these measures should help you stand a better chance. Because I understand some people don't know about these things, although they should do research when they are sailing in orca attack prone areas. Unless maybe you get a big fat payout from the insurance company and that's your goal. No, maybe it is. But if you don't want your boat to get damaged, do not do what this captain did. Anyway, listen, if you're still watching, you're a hero. Thank you for watching. Cheers, fair winds, and I see you on the next one.